Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coherent Tarot, where this will be a channeled message and intuitive reading for your wholest and truest self. And let's just dive into it and see what our message is today. So much just came out. You might be feeling a lot right now. Too much came out, but one of them stood out and was like separate from the other ones. And it is the sun, which also we have some beautiful, I think you'll still be able to see some of the sun flares in the scene, in the mise en scène. But for overall energy, we are just stepping into shining ourselves out, right? Like letting your inner child run free, but not in a way that is like letting an unhealed inner child at the wheel of the car, but creating safety and structure to take active steps towards our healing. This is about coming into union with your inner child and feeling the glow that comes from within when that work happens. Strength in reverse. And this all comes from that inner strength, right? From, if you're new here, I read reversals as internal, subconscious, shadow side energy, almost like your moon as opposed to the sun. So that's how I read reversals. But it's not just owning your inner strength. You may not even be aware of how strong you actually are. That in order to get to this place, you really have to do some work. And it's not sitting back and being passive in that work. It's confronting the lion and taking its jaw in your hands bravely with courage, but also with some peace. I think it's interesting too. I've always thought the strength card was interesting because it looks both like she's trying to push the mouth closed, but also kind of holding it open. And it does seem like this, coming into balance with the aspects of self that you maybe previously thought were not serving you, but it's like actually everything is a strength if you can use it appropriately and wisely, and everything can serve this wholest self if you let those things be strengths, if you let them speak truthfully to you. Okay, what energy is blocking us right now from continuing? I really feel like this is continuing to step into this new era of shining, right? This new era of shining is what I'm hearing. What energy is blocking us from stepping into this fully? Four of Cups. It may not look the way you thought it was going to. It may not feel the way you thought it was going to. And maybe you just don't see it yet, right? In the Four of Cups, there is this like, no, I don't want to accept that cup. But also, maybe he just hasn't seen it yet. He's looking down and not seeing all the gifts that Spirit has right there waiting for him if he just looks up. Remember to stay open, right? And know that yes, you may have like, there's point A and point B in your mind, and you're trying to get to point B. And the universe, for whatever reason, just isn't bringing you point B. And it's like, I've been working on this for so long, and I've been manifesting point B, and I want to get to point B. Why can't I just get point B? Because the universe is trying to give you the whole rest of the alphabet. And you're so focused on B that you don't see everything else that's right here waiting for you, ready to shower you in even more than you possibly could have expected. I'm also hearing gratitude. Hold gratitude for what you already have too, for these 3 cups that are here. It may feel like, well, I only have 3 cups. I only have 3 cups. Some people don't have 3 cups, and you do. You have 3 of them. And I'm not trying to undermine any struggles, but it's like we are all so much more full and abundant and radiant than we imagine. And stepping into gratitude for that, but also for the things that you feel like maybe you're not ready for, and the things that you feel like, I can't do this. I thought that I wanted B and I thought that I was going to get there, but maybe I'm just not good enough, right? I'm hearing like these self-doubt and self-talk, negative self-talk come in because it's like, well, I only have these 3 cups and I'm never going to get that 4th cup. And even once I get that 4th cup, then I'm going to have to work for the 5th and I'm just going to have to keep going and grinding. Flip that narrative. What's the bottom of the deck? The Queen of Swords, yeah. Be careful how you talk to yourself and the way you use your mind. The Queen of Swords can be sharp, and when used appropriately and wisely, you can harness the power of your mind to talk positively to yourself, to halt negative self-talk in the process of rolling down that path, right? You can use your mind to harness its ability to create its own reality, as opposed to falling victim to the lies that our mind tells us. The mind is a powerful tool, and just like a hammer, you can use it to construct a house, you can also use it as a really dangerous weapon. How do you use the tool of your mind? Are you constructing something that you want to build inside? Are you being gentle and kind and expansive with those thoughts? Or are you letting that sharpness be turned inward? We got this message a little bit ago about planting new seeds too. Whatever seed you're planting, I'm also now here focusing a lot on how this is like spirit bringing this in. It's the same hand through the cloud that we see in the 4 of Cups, right? And it's like spirit is bringing you stuff. Spirit's bringing you stuff. Source has your back. And if it is about anything in your 3D and material means and material wealth, like, you are so divinely protected and so provided for. Of course, take the steps that you need to take care of yourself. And, don't assume that Source isn't coming to save you. You got to save yourself. But know that as you take those active steps forward, right? Like the sun is also masculine energy, which is taking action, moving forward. And when you take that action forward, Source meets you in the 3D, in your reality. Page of Cups in reverse. It's about matching this energy of joyousness with reality. I think so often in spiritual communities, we talk about connection to spirit and divine inspiration and higher realm things. How does that actually ground into our reality? And when you are doing some inner child work, how can you harness it to actually help you? Not just because it's the thing that people are talking about, but what does that actually mean to you? And when we do inner child work, we are also doing parenting work. I call it remothering. I talked about this a little bit before too, where you're stepping into the parent role for yourself, which is what we all have to do when we become adults. We begin reparenting ourselves because our parents don't have that same control, say, influence over our lives anymore. And so we need to now be the one who is bringing consequences, whether those be positive or negative, and setting boundaries and rules so that our inner child and creative self can play. We have to balance both of those energies within us. And even if it feels like you can't tap into fully one or the other, or like you can't balance them, it almost feels like you're struggling with feeling both of them. Like you're just so in this liminal space between like masculine and feminine, where it's like if I go too far into the receiving energy of the feminine, then I'm not taking any active steps forward. And if I go way too far into the masculine energy of like provide and protect and taking action, then I really struggle to like play and relax and let go. And I think that that is this, I think that's the lesson here, and the lesson of your inner strength. And there's something coming in to help you with this. And it may be in the form of like a download, an internal message, or I feel like it's going to be in your 3D though, because this Ace of Pentacles, the Pentacles is the suit of the earth. It's like something is going to come in to support you with this balancing, and whatever it is that it feels like is stopping you from really striking that balance, there's going to be something to help. What is it that's going to help? Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Wands in reverse. Splitting the deck to Queen of Pentacles in reverse. I'm feeling some fear around this. Like, you almost don't trust that this thing is coming in to support you, and everything you do have, you're really trying to protect. And that's why it's so scary to keep stepping into the sun energy and owning that inner strength, because, because what if it gets taken away? What if it doesn't work? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? That's the fear. And you know, what if you're wrong? Truly, what's going to happen if you're wrong? I promise you, you will always be okay. You can go get a job, even if that job is, driving for Uber or doing DoorDash or waiting tables for a little bit, or, if it's not related to money and it's about family stuff, you will always be your own number one fan. Or maybe it's a romantic relationship or partnership that it feels like you're losing. And it's like, well, what if I lose this thing? You always have yourself. There is always someone in your corner, and there is always someone providing for you, and it is you. And to be able to trust yourself, you have to be someone that you trust. And that does mean stepping into that masculine energy again with this balance of providing for yourself, but also then being able to receive the things that you provide and give them to yourself, right? Put your own oxygen mask on first, splitting to the Page of Wands and the Three of Cups. There is something about trusting here, and it's trusting yourself, but also knowing that even in the moments of having to trust yourself, you're not alone. Because you do always have yourself. Your inner child is always there. Your highest self is always there. Your shadow is always there. Your shine is always there. All of the aspects of you are always sitting at the table with you, and they're always supporting you. And listen to them. They're bringing you this spark. And if there is something that you're feeling called to do, it's going to keep coming up. It's going to keep coming up until you listen to it, and then it'll likely just get stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's tied so innately, like I'm hearing purpose. It's interesting because I'm getting both this like internal struggle here, but then wanting to bring it into the 3D. And like this, there's this balance between like the inner child and the inner parent, and then the balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine, but then also the balance between like the spiritual and the earthly, this balance between the metaphysical and the physical. Um, Maybe look where Libra is in your chart. That may have, in your birth chart, that may have some impact for you right now, or be an important transit with all of this balancing energy. Also, if your Saturn is in Aries, your Saturn return just began. So that could be really impacting all of this too. That'll be for those that are like 26, 27, 28, I want to say. Older Gen Z or really young millennials. Double check where your Saturn is. Okay. What do we need to step into here? What energy do we need to step into along this journey? I just keep seeing this. Now I'm seeing like balance between the physical and the metaphysical. Yeah, okay. We get the Hierophant coming out, the mediator between the physical and the metaphysical. And it's in reverse. So it's this internal energy of stepping into your ability to be the mediator between these things. You are the gateway. You are the gatekeeper. I'm hearing key bearer, key holder, ring leader, ring bearer, but it's like a key ring bearer, because you'll see here in the Hierophant card, there's these two keys, and in mythology of tarot, they're considered the power to loose and the power to bind, right? To lock something away or to unlock something. And that balancing power is what you have inside of you. You have the ability to do both. And that means you have to use, Queen of Swords, your judgment, your mind, your higher intellect to determine what it is that you want to loose and what it is that you want to bind. And that means what aspects of yourself you want to set free and what aspects of yourself you want to not hide away, but hold close, right? Keep a rein on. It's almost like if you know your dog bites, you make sure you got a short leash on that dog. And it doesn't mean you don't love that dog, but you know that they bite. And so you want to be careful with them when you take them out in public. And it's kind of like, what parts of yourself do you need to have a shorter leash on? Because you know that they can bite. And what parts of yourself are so friendly and loving, and you really don't have to not just not worry about, but because they're quote unquote good. I want to be careful that we're not assigning value judgments here to these different aspects of self, because just because something needs a short leash doesn't mean it's bad. It's just a specific energy, and we're learning how to work with that energy and how to hone that energy to support our growth, how to use it as the tool that it is, right? Like this lion isn't bad. Strength just needs to learn how to work with the lion in a way that is productive and expansive. Similarly to your inner child, right? I'm seeing the Page of Cups again in our spread here. You're working with figuring out what energies, how to unleash or to leash different self aspects. But be wary not to judge them. And for example, like anger. We all have a certain amount of anger in us, and anger is a sacred, righteous thing. It is what fuels social justice movements and grand change in our world. It is what fuels it's an emotion that lets you know when a boundary has been violated. It's so powerful for so many reasons, but we all know we need to be careful with our anger, and we can't let it get the best of us. We have to be careful with how we wield that sword, because it's like always treat guns as if they're loaded. I grew up in Texas, so gun safety is a thing that I was taught, which everyone should be taught. Just it's good to have that information and that knowledge, but you always act as though a gun is loaded, even if you think it's not loaded, or you just checked it and it's not, or the safety's on, or whatever. You always act as if a gun is loaded and the safety is off, because you never know, because it's a deadly weapon, right? And you have to be careful with it. Same with these certain aspects of ourselves. And that doesn't mean that you need to lock your anger away and hide it away. It means you handle it with actually more care, as the precious thing it is. There's a quote that a friend of mine shared with me, and it's, she was not fragile like a flower, she was fragile like a bomb. Bombs are scary. They're dangerous. They set things off, and that's why you handle them with care. But also, we know that certain things have to crumble. The tower, right? You have to tear things down in order to have a solid foundation to build up again. And that includes inside yourself. Yeah, bottom of the deck here. It's this balance. Wow. Bottom of the deck when the Hierophant came out. It is this balance between your lower self and your higher self. Your inner self and your outer self. The public is the private is the public. I'm even hearing like your job and your home life, work-life balance, your family and your friends. It's not having to show up the same, but knowing that, you know, when people talk about wanting to be the same person in every single area of their lives, like I want to always show up as me and not have all of these different versions of myself. I'm hearing like, yes, own your wholeness, but know that there are parts of you that you don't always need to have active. But that doesn't mean you're being inauthentic. It means you're being wise. It means you're aware of the gifts that you have and when it's appropriate to use which gifts, because everything is a gift. Even our greatest strengths are also our greatest weaknesses, right? But all of those things are gifts, because they all bring us something, some tool, some learning. I'm being called to share I'm hearing perfectionism. That could be something that someone's struggling with, but one for me is my sensitivity. My whole life cry at the drop of a hat for anything. Happy tears, sad tears, angry tears. I feel anything and I'm gonna start crying. I'm so sensitive to other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And it's something that I really had to get a hold on, because I would just cry in the middle of a class at school, like in history class, because we learned about some horrible thing. And I'm like 13 years old just sobbing. And it's like, that's inappropriate, actually, right? It's not appropriate to show up with that and to, and I wouldn't like excuse myself to go to the bathroom or anything, but I then was like struggling in the corner, not knowing what to do. And it became everyone else's issue to deal with too, not just mine. And that's not fair to other people. It puts their education on pause. But just as much as this sensitivity makes it so difficult for me to connect with certain people and feel like, and for a really long time, people had to walk on eggshells around me. And I think sometimes people still feel like they do. And those are weaknesses of mine. But also it's a strength that I'm so sensitive, because I feel things deeply, because things touch me, and I want to feel things in that deep way. It allows me to have empathy and compassion at a level that I am so proud of. But it also makes my life harder in a lot of other ways. But I still see my sensitivity as a gift. I hope that makes sense, and that this could be something you relate to, or there's something else like this, perfectionism, that came up. It is such a curse when you can't just be done with something because you want it to be perfect. And that's so frustrating and so hard. Also, perfectionism means that you see things that no one else does, and that you are able to hone something in a very specific way that other people who don't have that strength can't see either. But you got to get a rein on it because you can't let it control and dictate your life. And like if you're an artist and you're a perfectionist, one of my good friends is an artist, and she always talks about how hard it is to know when a painting is done because she wants to keep going and keep going and keep going until it feels perfect. But if she kind of tips over this point of when it probably was done, then she feels like she's making it worse and worse and worse. But it was her perfectionism that drove her to keep painting on top of it anyways. So it's again learning how to wield these gifts in a productive, healthy way. And that's what this balance is. It is that divine union with all of these aspects of self. And not labeling sensitivity is something, especially in the spiritual community, that's labeled as good, as a strength, even though it's made my life so much harder. And perfectionism is something that's labeled as bad, something you need to get rid of, even though it can be helpful in a lot of other ways. So again, this message of like, stop like assigning a value judgment to things. Nothing is good or bad. It just is. And the journey to self-actualization is learning how to wield it and balance these things. Divinely balance these things in communion with whatever you feel the whole is. Source, spirit, the objective, the whole. Understanding that you are a fractal image of that, and that means that all of the good, all of the bad, all of the lovely, all of the hate-filled stuff, it's all within all of us. It is. And all of that allows us to understand each other and our communities better if we let it. If we let it be a tool for production. Not production in the capitalist consumerist sense, but production in the, it's productive, it's expansive, it allows for this like stronger understanding and strength to come through. Strength card, right? We also have a lot of major arcana on the board. Could feel really big. Could feel like this is a big transition time. Four of Swords in reverse. Let your inner self rest too. You may not even know how much rest you need, or you could just be feeling like, why am I so tired? Like, I thought I was sleeping okay. Or maybe, you're just feeling this need to take a pause. Again, calling that into balance with the other ways that you need to keep progressing and pushing forward and balancing all of these things. But as you're working through this, I wanted to say last chapter. That's so interesting. Maybe it feels like you're closing out a cycle. Yeah, as you're working on this last chapter of whatever this cycle is. I mean, we all feel more tired at the end of the day than we do at the beginning because you've been working on something, right? You've been cycling. So listen to what your body needs, listen to what that inner self needs, and then we have the Empress. This is what's waiting for you. Absolute richness, lushness, fullness of life. I'm seeing like rich red velvet fabric that like you can feel, and it's like soft, but not just soft, it's like full and interesting, and the color of wine, like this deep burgundy, and all of those feelings of like just this feeling of like being present with everything and letting life fill you up. Letting life fill you up. When you feel like your cups are empty, let life pour into them. Let source pour into them. Let your experience pour into them. And when, in the Empress card, we also have this river flowing in the background, you can kind of see here. right? When it feels like your cups start overflowing, that's what allows you to then pour into other people too, right? Again, this reciprocal balance relationship. I think it's also interesting that we're getting the Empress with the Hierophant. Definitely divine feminine and divine masculine energy here. Again, right? Okay, looking at the bottom of the deck. Seven of Pentacles. Is this, wait. Yeah, okay. Sorry, thought I went crazy there for a second. Seven of Pentacles. You've worked hard. Maybe this bears looking back at, this was something I was talking about last night as I was doing a live stream about building a vision board for June. And one thing that I always like to do when I build out my monthly vision boards or manifestation boards or, whatever you want to call them, is look back at my calendar from the last month and look at all of the things that I did accomplish, that I did do, whether or not they're like smart goals that it's like, yeah, that box was checked, but what insights did I have? What downloads did I have? What seeds did I plant? What steps did I take towards things? But also, like, what are actual, very tangible things too? Just looking back through my calendar and seeing all of the things that I did. We have the bells going. Confirmation here that this may be something that'll be really powerful and important for you. Look back at the last month. If you keep a written calendar or one in your phone or, wow, the bells are really loud. This really could feel, maybe this really resonates or it's really important that you do this because I think sometimes, the bells are just so beautiful. I don't even need one of those bells like some readers have to clear out the negative energy, right? I have 3 churches right next to me to clear out all the energy for me. Life is unreal. I want to show you all this view. And I have some crows flying around outside right now. Oh, there's also an airplane. And it looks like it's going down. Yeah, it's the ending of a cycle. We're closing out a chapter. You're coming into land. Getting outside may be really important. Feeling aligned with your space. And this is how this connects with the Seven of Pentacles energy. Pausing and looking around. And just taking it in. It's like the stop and smell the roses energy. You have been working. And whether that is like intense inner work or external work in the 3D or, when I say working, I guess what I'm trying to say with this little part here is like, I don't mean mindset, grind set, because I think that's bad. I mean this work of like forward energy and growth, right? You have been growing. You have been cycling. You've been turning the wheel of fortune, right? You've been letting it move and take you and also giving it energy to keep turning. Look back at your last month and pause and take a look around at your life. Maybe it is go on a walk around your block and just notice things you haven't seen before. Even if it's, oh, I never noticed there was a crack in the concrete there. Or I never noticed that that brick is like a little bit smaller. I never noticed that this area collects puddles like that. I never noticed how blue the sky is today. Whatever it means, just taking in your surroundings, but then also taking in the surroundings of your direct life. I haven't noticed how far I've come. I didn't notice that I had a breakthrough this month. I didn't notice that, I'll use a personal example, not to try and you know, talk about me, but just hopefully to illustrate what I'm talking about. When I was doing this last night, truly, I didn't notice that I had gone to 4 networking events this month, which was one of my goals, to just network more. I didn't notice that I had had 3 different breakthroughs about my inner work. I didn't notice that I had filmed 5 podcast episodes that I'm really excited for to release in the next season. I didn't celebrate that I had done 3 seasons of my podcast. I didn't notice that this one thing that I had been so afraid to do, I just did one day. I just finally did it. And I didn't pause to celebrate it. Take a look around you and look at all that you have created, divinely co-created, right? Co-created. Okay. I want to get some guidance on what this thing coming in is with the Ace of Pentacles energy that feels like something coming in to support us. I'm hearing bottom of the deck. Oh, the 3 of Cups in reverse. Maybe it's people. Maybe it's a community. Maybe it's... But it's in reverse, so it's internal. The thing that's going to come in to help you is yourself. It's one of those horrible riddle things that's like, as soon as you realize that you don't need the thing will come. As soon as you realize that you are the thing you've been looking for, it all just clicks into place. As soon as you realize that you are your home, suddenly you don't feel like you need that home that you've been searching for so long. As soon as you realize that you are your number one fan, that you are the foundation of any community, you don't feel like you need to grind to build community as much anymore. And I'm not trying to say don't be a good villager at all, but as soon as you realize that the beginning of all of your relationships start with the relationship to yourself, everything else just gets easier. In that you don't need those relationships in the same way anymore, because you have yourself, and that's going to be the key. You are the key. You're the ring bearer, the key ring bearer. You already have all of those keys. You are your own key. And you unlock the gateway to the future. You unlock. You've been waiting for someone else to open the door, but you literally have the key. It feels like the door has been locked, and you've been waiting for someone to unlock it from the other side, but you are the key. As soon as you go to touch the doorknob, even if you're like, ugh, it's gonna be locked, you're the key. It only opens to your hand. No one could open it for you on the other side anyways. That's not the way this portal works, and that's why this is the last chapter. That's also the beginning of a new cycle, is because it's opening this doorway. If you resonate with this language, it could feel like a timeline jump. It could feel like another quantum realm or multiverse world, or creating a new world. If any of that language resonates with you, that it could feel like that. But it does feel like, in order to close this book, in order to finish reading this chapter, it is knowing that you are the key. And that's why you're the key ring bearer. Because it's inside of you, so you can't see it. You can't hold that ring in your hand and like jangle it like a janitor. But you feel it. You feel that inner spark. And it's in you, so when you touch the doorknob to this door, it just opens, and you have to stop waiting for someone to open it from the other side, because you're also on the other side. And it's you, when you reach out and touch that doorknob to open the portal door, you're going to see on the other side a mirror image of you pulling that door open and welcoming you through. And it's also you. You're doing it at the same time. It's a mirror image. Okay. Any last wisdom on this portal, this stepping through sun energy, empress energy, hierophant energy, key ring bearer? You are the key. I'm also hearing Hecate may be important for you. Um, if you work with deities, if you do deity work. Stuff's gonna start moving once you start reaching forward internally and externally. Stuff is gonna start moving. Don't be afraid of the moving energy. The moving energy is supportive, and you have to stop fighting yourself. You have to stop fighting in general, because the only thing you are fighting when you fight is yourself. And even if you feel that gut instinct being like, the door's going to be locked anyways, well, then yeah, of course it's going to be locked because you hold the key. So if you think it's going to be locked, you're not going to take the key out and go through the effort of doing it. That's part of the trust, right? That you are the key. You get to write your own narrative. You get to decide when and how you open the door. You get to decide. It's in your hands. And I know that it's hard. Believe me, I am here with y'all. It's hard. But as soon as you own that you are the gatekeeper, you are the portal, right? You are the only thing keeping you up at night. Truly. It's kind of like the no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. It's all in you. You've got this. You've so got this. You are so. I'm hearing they're rooting for you. Your family, your friends, your guides, your ancestors, they're rooting for you. And they believe in you. And I believe in you, and I'm rooting for you. And you, on the other side of that door, the mirror image you that's going to open the door as you open it, they're rooting for you. They're ready to open the door. And you are too. You know you are. You know you're ready to open the door. You've got this. I want to split the deck one more time and see what we get. And it's not just an internal thing, too. Again, remember the balance that it is metaphysical and physical. As you open the door spiritually, and other doors start opening in the 3D, in space-time. Now, physicists say there's like 12 dimensions, but I hope you know what I mean when I say 3D. In this space-time world, doors open too. Maybe doing door meditations is something that would resonate with you too, as well as like looking back over the last month and celebrating any accomplishments. But like sit in a doorway and meditate there. Be in the liminal space as the balancer, as the keyring bearer, as the gateway between this realm and the others. This is cool. 44 on the timer. 44 may be important to you. It's the master number of change, rapid change. I believe in you. You've got this. And I'm so excited to see what this looks like for you. If this resonated with you, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know how this feels like it's manifesting in your life. Leave me a like if you feel called to, subscribe if you feel called to. I'm trying to do readings every day or at least every other day. So yeah, stay in touch, follow. All of the links to all the important stuff are in the video description. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. And as always, I hope you feel like you are living coherently. Until then, love.